to our documentary. As you know, cross-culture is becoming increasingly important as the success of international trade depends on the smooth interactions between employees from different cultures and regions. This issue has already spread out to Vietnam as a lot of foreign firms and organizations are investing in Vietnam. As of April 20, 2016, Vietnam had 806 US valid investment projects registered at over $11.7 billion and ranking 8th out of all nations and territories investing in Vietnam. A host of US companies, including Intel, Microsoft, and Coca-Cola, are already operating major projects here, so that cross-cultural understanding is essential to both Vietnamese and foreigners when doing business in other countries in order to produce outputs more efficiently. Here comes Aaron James Everhart, mentor investor of Hedge Ventures, to join our interview today. Here we go.
Hello, Aaron.
Hi.
Nice to meet you. Thank you for joining our interview today.
My pleasure.
Yeah, thank you. And how long have you been working in Vietnam?
11 years.
11 years.
I moved here in 2005.
So, what are your impressions about Vietnamese working style?
Well, it's different from Western working style. And sometimes it caught me by surprise, or I failed to have successful negotiation because I was unaware of the difference.
And in your opinion, what are the differences in working habits between American and Vietnamese? And please explain more about each difference.
Well, in general, I think for Vietnamese people, the family is maybe more important than the job.
That's right.
Whereas in my country, maybe the job is equally or more important than the family. Many people will make sacrifices for their job. For their job. Whereas I think in Vietnam, people are more likely to make sacrifices for their family.
Yeah, I heard something like American is like live to work, and for the Asian, they are work to live, and they
you could say that.
They take care of their family more than the work.
Yes.
Yeah. So how about the etiquette?
For the Western person, I think that in the workplace, etiquette is important, but I think we're more informal. We have social rituals, but they're not so important. So, for example, I think the only one that may be important is shaking hands upon the greeting. It's unusual for a Western person to not shake hands. Other than that, not too many formalities. Maybe what you wear is more important than how you behave. So we judge people by experience, not by impression. So first, of course, the first impression is always important in both cultures, but in Vietnam, I think it's more important.
So how about the timing?
That depends. My country, the United States, is big and it has many cultures inside. And some cities and some states are more relaxed than others. But in general, American people value punctuality more than Vietnamese people. Or that there's an unspoken understanding that it's okay to be 15 or 30 minutes late. Whereas in my country, if you're more than 15 minutes late, you will make people angry.
Do you find Vietnamese employees were too shy to show their opinions in the workplace?
Yeah, that's a big problem. When I first moved here 11 years ago, my job was to develop some creative product. I was a consultant and I was hosting a brainstorming. And the people that I was working with were Vietnamese young people, and they had never brainstormed before. And so they had no idea what that meant. And when it was time for people to contribute ideas in a work group session, nobody wanted to have any idea. But after a while, they got used to it, and then we had a good time. So that's something that can be learned, even though it's not a habit.
So, as a manager, do you find any difficulties when facing to such differences?
Yes, it can be a problem because I used to run several companies, and sometimes I would lose an employee. They would quit, but I would never know why, and they would never give me any warning. Whereas in the West, the employee will complain. They will talk to the supervisor direct, or they will go above the supervisor and talk to the director and complain about the supervisor. It's very common to go above your supervisor and complain about them.
So,
And then, or you can go to the human relations department and complain about your boss. And if your boss is doing something wrong or illegal, then the human relations department will go to them and confront them directly. I don't think that would ever happen here. If you don't like your job and you don't like your boss, you just quit. You never talk about why. So that's a problem because, obviously no one's perfect, no boss is perfect, no director is perfect, and the feedback from the staff is important. A cycle of feedback and improvement is necessary for any organization to grow. So we all could have learned more had we not been afraid to share openly about each other's faults, and also to praise each other equally.
And in your role, how do you going to deal with these problems?
It depends. In my own company, I just create a new culture. So we create a culture of openness, and so we have values, and we communicate the values, and one of the values might be open communication. So if that's a value in your company, then everyone must follow the value. Some new people, it's hard for them to get used to it, but after they get used to it, they appreciate it and keep it.
Yeah, thank you.
Sure.
So this is the end of our interview.
Now we come to Miss Mai, a Vietnamese staff from H.
Chào chị, cảm ơn chị đã đến với buổi phỏng vấn ngày hôm nay.
Chào em, chị rất vui được gặp em.
Vâng, em được biết là chị đến từ tổ chức HED, một tổ chức đa quốc gia, đặc biệt là dưới sự quản lý của người Mỹ. Vậy theo chị có đánh giá gì về cách làm việc cũng như là cách quản lý của người Mỹ?
Theo chị thì về quản lý thì người Mỹ đặt cái kết quả lên hàng đầu. Họ không quá quan trọng về thứ bậc trên dưới. Thành ra khi chị làm việc với người Mỹ thì chị cảm thấy thoải mái, và chị có thể chú trọng vào cái kết quả công việc cuối cùng của chị. Không như ở làm việc với người Việt Nam thì vì tư tưởng của người châu Á thì nó đặt tình cảm lên hàng đầu, cho nên là chị phải chú trọng đến quan hệ với lãnh đạo. Tuy nhiên ở làm việc với người Mỹ, chị có thể bày tỏ quan điểm của chị trong vấn đề chị được giao.
Vậy theo chị có những thuận lợi gì khi có quản lý là người Mỹ?
Như chị đã nói ở trên, thứ nhất là chị cảm thấy thoải mái trong môi trường làm việc như vậy. Thứ hai là chị có thể thể hiện được cái năng lực của mình, bày tỏ các ý kiến đối với công việc. Thứ ba là chị thích sự thẳng thắn của người Mỹ. Ngoài ra người ta còn khuyến khích các nhân viên bày tỏ ý kiến, nêu quan điểm kể cả những mặt yếu kém của mình. Thứ tư là chị thấy là người ta đánh giá kết quả công việc khá sát với năng lực của mỗi người. Chính vì thế chị thấy gặp nhiều thuận lợi khi được làm việc với người Mỹ.
Vậy bên cạnh những thuận lợi chị đã nêu ở bên trên thì chị có gặp khó khăn gì không?
Có chứ. Đôi khi chị phải gặp áp lực trong cái việc hoàn thành các công việc được giao với đúng thời hạn được giao và phải với chất lượng cao nhất. Chính vì thế chị cũng gặp áp lực trong cái việc phải tự hoàn thiện các kỹ năng cho bản thân cũng như kiến thức chuyên môn, và phải sắp xếp thời gian hợp lý, hài hòa giữa công việc và gia đình.
Dạ vâng, cảm ơn chị đã đến buổi phỏng vấn ngày hôm nay. Chúc chị có một ngày làm việc hiệu quả.
After watching two interviews with an American manager and a Vietnamese staff, can you acquire some main differences between two cultures' working styles? To help you understand clearly, we made a summary for you. Let's see.
Now I'll tell you about 5 main differences between American and Vietnamese. The first difference is about time. In general, American people value punctuality more than Vietnamese people. In American culture, time is extremely important and being punctual is highly valued because time is money. Being late in meeting is considered rude and poor in time arrangement, which could make Americans angry. However, Vietnamese do not value punctuality too much. Most of Vietnamese are usually late, and they suppose that is normal. The second one is about etiquette. To Americans, workplace etiquette is not very important, so they can easily forgive other people for the awkwardness of etiquette. They judge people by experience, not by impression. On the contrary, Vietnamese attach the special importance to the etiquette. They can judge people quickly from the first communication. The next one is about expressing personal opinion. Americans consider themselves to be frank and open in their dealing with others. They are willing to show what they think directly to their boss or their co-workers. Being honest is more important than keeping harmony in interpersonal relationships. Meanwhile, Vietnamese usually don't get straight to the point, especially delicate matters as asking or giving problems. They focus on the ingenuity and flair because of being afraid to displease managers. About hierarchy and management style, American society has more flattened structure with fewer hierarchical levels. American managers often try to convince staff that we are rowing in the same boat and often consider themselves as a part of the team. By contrast, Vietnamese society has well-defined class structure, and everyone needs to understand their place within the hierarchy so that harmony can be maintained. Vietnamese managers consider themselves higher level than their employees, and also expect strong loyalty and obedience from their staff. The last one is about working style. In the US, Americans follow individualism, which emphasize personal responsibility, goal, and performance. If someone in a group has an idea, he will keep it and develop by himself. Compared to Vietnamese people really get into collectivism. They often work in team and support each other. Ideas from individuals will be shared with others in order to develop them to get the final group target.
The cultural differences may cause some potential issues which hinder relationships in workplace. Here are some helpful approaches to overcome cultural barriers.
So now I would like to give you 3 solutions. The solution 1 is determine common values requiring employees to follow. Managers must decide whether certain attitudes, behaviors, or attributes are absolutely essential to succeed at work, and then assembling them into rules which everyone must follow. 2. Learn about other cultures. The ability to interact with people of different countries all depends on your awareness and knowledge of other cultures, and also attitudes toward cultural differences and cross-cultural skills. You can accommodate with jobs better when understanding cultures of people you work with. And the last solution is create an open forum to communicate. One of the biggest causes of cultural misunderstanding is a lack of communication. Therefore, supervisors should create an open forum that gives co-workers a chance to ask each other questions and get to know well each other's heritage.
Thank you for watching our video. See you next time.